Hello and welcome back to Droip. In today's video, we are diving into some useful interactions that you can add to your website, such as progress bar, tilt animation, and horizontal side scroll. Each brings an extra wow factor to your site while improving usability. So, let's jump right in. A progress bar is perfect for helping visitors keep track of their position on the page as they scroll. Let's start by designing it. We'll start by adding a section and a div inside it to our page. Let's rename the section to Progress Bar. We want the progress bar to be fixed on top of the page, so we'll drag the section on top from our Layers panel. Let's give our div a height of 15 pixels and width of 0%. The reason we're doing this is that we do not want the div to be visible when the page first loads. We want it to increase its size by applying an interaction. We'll also give this div a background color of orange, maintaining our website's theme. We'll also give the section a height of 15 pixels and a width of 100%. This section is going to be our placeholder for the div or the progress bar. We'll give this section a background color of white. Now that designing the progress bar is done, we'll have to fix its position. For that, we'll select the section and from the position panel, we'll set its position to fixed and give it a z-index of 99. For the div, we'll also set its position to fixed, but we'll give it a z-index of 100. What the z-index will do is keep the section and the div on top of all other elements on our page. And by giving the div a larger z-index than the section, we ensured that the div overlays on top of the section. Now, let's add our interaction. But first, we'll have to set our trigger. We'll set the object to page since our interaction is going to be active throughout the whole page. And set its trigger to while page is scrolling. So throughout the page, while it is being scrolled, our interaction is going to be active. Now for the real action. We'll add a custom response and select the div to add an interaction onto it. We'll add a size change interaction and set the timeline from 0 to 100% as we want the interaction throughout the whole page. And set the width change to 101%. Lastly, we'll turn off the viewport only option. And our progress bar is ready. Let's see our progress bar in action. Next up, let's add a horizontal side scroll effect to our team member sections on our site. This gives a unique scrolling experience to the users. We'll have to make a few changes to our team section to make it ready for our scrolling interaction. Firstly, we'll set this section's height to 300 viewport height, making it 3 times the height of the screen. Within this section, we'll set the container's height to 100 viewport height so that it fills the entire screen. Next, we'll change its position to sticky and set its top and left value to 0% to hold it in place until the user has scrolled till the next section. Now for the team members div, which is actually going to be the element that we apply the side scroll interaction to, we'll give it a left margin of 2500 pixels to remove most of them from the view so that when scrolling this section, the team members come into view. Now selecting our team section, we'll go into the interaction panel and set element as the object. Set the trigger to while element is scrolling, so while the section is being scrolled, which is set to 300 viewport height, the container will stick to the viewport with the height of 100 viewport height. Let's add our custom interaction. We'll set the team div and add a move interaction. We'll set the timeline to 30% to 80% so that the interaction will start with a delay until the whole section is in view and ends a little early for a smooth transition to the next section. For the interaction, we'll set the x-axis move to -2000 pixels. Our side scroll interaction is now ready. Let's check it out. To wrap things up, let's add a fun tilt effect to a card on our site. Firstly, we'll select the div that holds the image we want to apply the interaction to. From the interaction panel, we'll set the object to element and set the trigger to mouse hover over element. For this trigger, we have 2 responses. one at x-axis and one at y-axis. For x-axis response, we'll add a rotation interaction to the div and give it a rotation of 10 degrees in the x-axis and for the y-axis response, we'll add a rotation interaction to the div and give it a rotation of 10 degrees in the y-axis. Our interaction should now be working. And for an added 3D effect, let's enable perspective in Droip. To do that, select the parent div of the one we applied the rotation to, turn on 3D transformation from the transformation section, and set 1000 pixels distance to self. This adds depth to the animation and makes it pop. And that's it. With these 3 effects, you have added a unique interactive feel to your website. Don't forget to subscribe for more Droip tutorials and let us know in the comments which interaction you are most excited to try out.